One of the most highly refined functions of the brain. It demands the coordinated firing of millions of neurons, and a short circuit somewhere has devastating effects. It can lock a perfectly clear-thinking human being into a chillingly morbid world of silence. Tonight, Karien van der Merwe explores the painstaking struggle of people trying to break that barrier.
I am a child with no voice and no means of communicating. I have no choice but to live in silence day by day. Being non-speaking can't help but chip away at the human spirit.
Paul Marshall lives in Canada. Working on the family farm there, the first thing you'll notice about Paul is his disabilities. He has cerebral palsy, a tortured legacy of a few moments without oxygen at birth. He says at the age of 7, he pointed to the sky in an effort to ask his mother why God made him like that. She didn't have an answer. But Paul found his own answer and became an advocate for non-speaking people.
My body might be classed as handicapped, but the person that lives within is normal.
Paul originally was diagnosed as having a below average intelligence, basically because he couldn't communicate. Paul's come to work with us in South Africa to raise awareness about the needs of people who have communication needs. So on behalf of Interface, I'd like to welcome him here.
Let me say how glad I am to be with you in South Africa.
Alive, communicating and doing okay. Thank you.
After having had no access to language until the age of 12, Paul is now an associate editor of a magazine and sits on an international board for alternative communication. His specialized laptop computer has enabled him to address conferences around the world, and in 1994 he received an award for his contributions to augmentative and alternative communication. Paul says he thinks he proved those who thought him ineducable wrong.
Never try to box the human spirit or set limits on it. I can well remember doctors and professionals talking right in front of me as if I was just another number.
The key that unlocked his proverbial boxed spirit was a simple bliss board. Bliss symbolics is an internationally accepted graphic language system. Symbols that have introduced thousands, if not millions of people across the world to communication and literacy.
En hoe laat kom je school toe? Okay. 20 to 8.
Bliss symbolics takes its name from Charles Bliss, an Austrian Jew who suffered at the hands of the Nazis during the Second World War. Bliss believed that the root cause of all wars lay in the lack of communication, and he hoped that his system would break down language barriers and end human conflict. Yet unknowingly, Mr. Bliss broke down a different kind of barrier and provided people locked in silence with a key to communication.
What we've got here, we've got 3 symbols, and putting together makes the word lawnmower. The big circle with the wheel inside. That is the machine. We then have a sword to cut, okay, followed by a blade of grass, and together the machine that cuts grass is a place.
Dr. Annalou Waller is a researcher in computer science at the University of Dundee in Scotland. She left South Africa after having obtained a master's degree at the University of Cape Town. Annalou also suffers from cerebral palsy and cannot dare go without speech therapy.
To know someone, to get to like them, you have to communicate with them. Somebody who is unable to speak actually can't interact with anybody at that level. And although they're still people, they're locked inside this body, which is like a prison. And if you think of yourself in prison for 12, 20 years, unable to interact with anybody other to have them feed you and take you to the toilet and bath you, what is the meaning of life? There is no meaning.
Annalou says she's very fortunate. She's totally independent. But there are many people, especially in this country, who didn't have the opportunities she had. And if you can't communicate, she says, you have no control. Others make decisions for you.
On a social level, however, every time I went into a strange group of people, I had to spend at least half an hour trying desperately to get anybody to talk to me.
Annalou says she partly got her PhD because she wanted to cut out that half an hour of wasted time trying to be accepted.
And so now when I get introduced as Dr. Waller, people immediately communicate with me at that level and not at a 10-year-old level.
One of the reasons South Africa lost Annalou's talents to Scotland was because here she felt like an outcast. There she feels accepted. She says South Africa has a long legacy of putting people in boxes, not only colour boxes. As a child, she had to attend special schools. Children don't grow up together, she says, and that's why people don't know how to respond to a disabled person.
I am in standard 1.
And if you don't measure up to being what we think a normal person should be, you are put away into a centre or a home out of everyone's eye.
There is no room for disabled children in mainstream schools. They don't have the facilities, she says.
Children are children. They might have special needs, but they have the same need, the same right to be accepted in society for who they are.
Now, Siyabonga, which one is the chicken, the cuckoo? Ibn cuckoo. Yes, clever boy. Yes.
What you see here isn't the kind of stimulation Siyabonga gets every day. The Siyazama Educare Centre in Guguletu doesn't have these aids. It caters for physically and mentally disabled children of all ages, and although the assistants do all they can for the children, it isn't a school.
Siyabonga, for the first time I saw him when he came here, I saw him that he's an intelligent boy because he wants to say what he wants to say, meanwhile he has got no voice to voice it out.
He could stay in a place like this or at home alone for the rest of his life. He's virtually got a life sentence to be trapped in his own body unless somebody can come in and intervene and open the doors to his communication and learning.
She's sat on the second chair. And she slept. Yes, but she just sat on the chair. Eh? Gareth, did the mom and the daddy come home? Hey? Did the mom and the daddy? Yeah, good boy. They came home. Good boy. Yeah.
Gareth doesn't interact like the other children. Is he really following the story of Goldilocks? It's hard to tell. 6-year-old Gareth can't walk, talk, or even use his hands. But given bliss symbols, he uses his right foot to give instructions for making a milkshake.
Now, what do we need to put in there to make it pink?
Gareth was one of 3 children discovered in a daycare centre.
Those kids had been put in this daycare centre because they had been labelled as ineducable, in fact, retarded. And walking into that classroom, I mean, where there were those 6 little eyes all looking at me, and you could just see that those kids were not meant to be there. They have the most incredible potential. You want to stir it?
The road to Gareth's being able to communicate was long and hard.
And over a period of 2 years, with a great deal of help on the teacher's side, we got Gareth and 2 other children communicating using bliss symbolics to just the most amazing levels that we would never have guessed was possible.
It seems if you can't communicate verbally and no one is there to actually see this and to intuit that you are in fact intelligent, that you might end up languishing in some sort of daycare centre ad infinitum. You know, there must be a lot of kids out there. This is the tip of the iceberg.
En hoe voel jy om op die TV te wees? Wat 'n kleur? Wat 'n kleur? Bruin. Ja, en wat 'n nommer? Nommer 5. Ons sien wat is bruin nommer 5. Bruin nommer 5. So jy voel bly om op die TV te wees.
Quinton is 15 years old. He was brought to Agape, a school for children with cerebral palsy, at the age of 11. He was still wearing a nappy and drinking from a bottle. He couldn't sit and lay on his back staring at the ceiling. After years of intensive physio and occupational therapy, Quinton gained control over his head and eyes. He is no longer frustrated or depressed, and it's now hard to believe that this is a boy who came very close to giving up.
I think eventually they just shut off because they realize that there's no way to access the information. People are not making an attempt, and I think they, you know, when you get past a critical period in your life where people aren't accessing it, I think you would just sit there and not be able to function.
Intelligent, thinking people who need to be recognised as such through speech, something that we take for granted. We continue after a short break. Stay with us.
Come on in. I'll give you tyres, battery, shocks, exhausts. No quibble.
No quibble?
No quibble. I'll give you hassles? Never. Arguments? No chance. Delays? No ways. No quibble.
No quibble.
The super quick no quibble guarantee means no hassles, no arguments, no delays on anything we do. Nationwide. Super quick.
TV1 Total and Trees for Africa invite you to an adventure in the Malaysian rainforest. Pick up a free Arbor Day activity booklet and seeds from your participating Total service station or farmers co-op. Enter the Total TV1 Arbor Day competition to stand a chance of winning a trip for 4 to Malaysia's 100-million-year-old rainforest. Second prize of a holiday for 4 at Sun Game Lodge's Tower Game Lodge, home of the Big Five, and 8 third prizes of holidays at other exciting Sun Game Lodges can be won. So visit Total and plant a tree for our country on Arbor Day.
And we continue with exploring the challenges that are faced by some members of our communities.
Jackie is 24 years old. She is confined to a wheelchair and cannot speak. She spends her days at the Friends Daycare Centre. At night she goes home, to a ward in an institution for the mentally disabled. Jackie has been institutionalized all her life.
Other people see Jackie as a
mentally handicapped person, whereas I see as a normal person. It's because I can communicate with her.
Liz has been Jackie's teacher for the past few years. Nobody has reached out to Jackie in the way she has.
I didn't know her, so I just took it. She's a mentally handicapped person, but by learning to know her, I found out that she is not. I mean, she's got a lot of mentality. She understood by working with her. I've worked endless hours with her. I worked with her and I found out there's such a lot up there. And that is how the two of us clicked.
Jackie also met Paul Marshall during his short visit here. He related to her instantly and was deeply disturbed by her situation. He said it could have been him.
If I grew up in South Africa, there is no question in my mind that I would be sitting in some center somewhere, just watching my life go by.
Unlike Paul, Jackie wasn't given the tools to communicate until a very late stage in her life. Most people have trouble understanding her.
You want to go for a walk today?
It's a tragedy. I think she has a lot to offer, but I think it's come quite late. She's already very emotionally damaged about the fact that people haven't listened to her for so long. And I've worked with lots of people who are in the same situation where they've sort of given up. Why bother?
Living at the institution, she is happy because that is a family, that is a home. And when I take her home for holidays, after the third day or so, she will tell me that she wants to go home now.
When I look at someone like Paul or even Jackie, I think about the fact that if I had maybe had a second more of lack of oxygen when I was born, I might have had that severe a disability. Had I not had the parents and the family and the support I have had, I would actually today be sitting in a training center or sitting in an institution just doing absolutely nothing.
Having been in the institution all her life, Jackie didn't have the same home life or opportunities Annalou had. Yet she seemed proud to show Paul Alexandra Hospital. This was her home, her family.
Is Jackie more intelligent than the people here?
Yes, she's quite good. She can even gossip about her, about you. If you like you are gone, she will talk to us about you. She can gossip. She's so good upstairs, Jacqueline. Really, she's very intelligent. But why she's here, even myself, I don't know. And I should think if she could be placed at such a place where she can use her brains, then she can be of much use maybe to others.
Okay.
Jackie, when she can read all this.
Yeah, she uses it. Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows to what extent Jackie would have developed had she not spent her entire life in an institution and had she been introduced to bliss at an early age. Dr. Leila Ahrens, a foremost specialist in cerebral palsy, warns that one should not lose perspective by thinking that all non-speaking people are intelligent. She says cerebral palsy can affect your physical as well as your mental abilities.
So that it doesn't follow that if you are severely physically disabled and cannot speak, you necessarily have an imprisoned mind. Your mind might also be affected and you might be quite considerably mentally handicapped. I think the interface group are making the mistake of putting together the non-communicating child with necessarily having an average or near average or superior intelligence.
Maybe I'm accused of giving people false hope, But I feel there is always hope. You never know what the future brings. And unless we keep trying, especially with the difficult cases, with kids who we feel are getting nowhere, but something might just come up that will work. And we have a responsibility to try every single new thing with as many children as we can.
Shona's own child, Shelley, suffers from cerebral palsy and is severely physically disabled. She can't walk, pick up her arms or talk. She was also assessed as being deaf and ineducable. Shona says they were told to put Shelley in a home and have another baby. Instead, Shona and her husband took it upon themselves to educate their child.
Being a young parent, actually totally ignorant of disability, one is so vulnerable to believing what is said to you by the professionals. Looking back now, I realize just how vital that first step is in accepting responsibility for your child and not taking the easy way out and handing over that responsibility to the system. Because in the end, really it's you that has to be answerable for what future your child has, not the system. The system, when the child gets to 21, gives your child back whether they've succeeded or not.
Shelley is now 12 years old. She has a full-time facilitator, and from the beginning of this year, she was allowed to attend Kalk Bay Primary, a mainstream school outside Cape Town. The principal says it's a pilot project which wasn't taken on lightly.
It's never been done in South Africa before, as far as I know. A girl of this nature being mainstreamed. Quite a bit of discussion went into it before she actually arrived at school. And we prepared the children with a slideshow so that they could understand what they were going to see and why Shelley was in the position she's in.
Until she came to school, she had never communicated with anybody. I was nervous about how she was going to react to what we were doing, if I would have trouble with her distracting the class, but that hasn't happened at all. The only one thing is that you have to have a facilitator with a child like this, a full-time facilitator, otherwise it wouldn't work at all.
At the beginning, the children were quite curious because Shelley sometimes makes noises that they're not accustomed to, and she sometimes dribbles. And they now just get up when they see her dribbling, wipe her cheek, and away they go.
Jan is really wonderful. She adapts my lessons for Shelley to be able to do them and to understand exactly what's going on.
The way she works is with a little number board, and she points, and I just hold her elbow because she has this lack of being able to lift her arm up. Once her arm is held up, then she can point to whichever letter she wants to.
It's difficult to assess Shelley's abilities at a glance.
How is her hearing? Does she hear what's said in class?
Yes.
She does hear?
She does hear, yes, definitely.
Because I know it was believed at some stage that she...
That could well be the case, but now she hears, I would say, everything.
She obviously can hear because her spelling is really very good.
I think the vital progress we're making at school is not in so much as what Shelley is achieving or how clever she is. What is important is that she's becoming part of the community. She's becoming part of that school. She doesn't have to be an Einstein. She doesn't ever have to pass an IQ test for me to prove anything. As long as in life she can get something for herself. And that thing we're looking for is acceptance for her as she is, and not her as we wish she should be or as she should be to fit into a specific community.
It's been a marvelous experience to staff, pupils, parents, and I think for Shelley herself. The children have become a lot more understanding. In fact, they queue to push her around at break time, around on the netball court. And we've all learned a tremendous amount from this. It's made us aware of disabled people more so than we were beforehand.
It was a slow and painful process. It's taken us 10 years to teach her to communicate to the level she is at now. And that's been every day, all day, a part of our life. And this isn't something that other people thought I should do. This wasn't something that was glamorous or easy or cheap or rewarding. This was hard slog. This was something that almost tore the family apart. It was something that has brought criticism from every corner on my head and on our family's head. And yet, in the end, I still do not regret one moment of the struggle, if it can empower Shelley to communicate and take part in the community.
All of us have some level of disability. Most of us carry it inside ourselves when no one can see it.
Life is what you make it. Our physical shell is only a shell. The real issues of being handicapped are fought and won in the inner person.
Well, when we were very young, we all had to learn to speak and communicate. Obviously, some just require special help. And on to a battle of a different kind. The battle for power in KwaZulu-Natal has taken thousands of lives, and on Sunday night, Agenda Newsline will tell this tragic story across 2 channels at 7:30 on CCV and on TV1 at 8:15. But from now, from all of us here this evening from Agenda Newsline, a very good night.
Die baby geboren toen het vroeg uit zeepboksie. Dan vaar die ook nooit die zeepboksie, dan zei voor jou. Neerlegde een klein meisje van mij hier in die boksie, dan legde onder het.
Goedenavond en hartelijk welkom bij ons programma. Daar is nog een Griekwa rugbyspan en streek, maar van die Griekwa self en hulle grond is daar weinig teken. Hulle is verstrooi, versplinter, uitgeboer en uitgeboender van wat en waar hulle was. Die week pleit 'n afvaardiging van die Griekwa Nasionale Konferensie by die Verenigde Nasies in Genève vir hulle saak, want dit is die VN se dekade vir die regte van inheemse volkere. In Suid-Afrika voer hulle egter sedert die 50er jare 'n hulpelose en hopelose stryd om erkenning en die herstel van hulle grondregte wat so ver as die vorige eeu dateer. Karien van Merwe het die leidrade gaan naspeur van die Griekwas van die Noord-Kaap.
Ver wes van Kimberley, op Campbell, speel 'n eeuwenoude ritueel af. 'n Jong meisie is in puberteit. Haar bloed is aan die oumas gerapporteer en sy was 2 weke lank in afsondering agter 'n kombers. Môre sal sy weer in die openbaar verskyn. Dis tyd vir feesviering.
Jy trap die bloed dood. Ons trap hom toe. Kyk, laat sy nou groot word. Hy kan met enige jy kan uitgaan, want hy is maandag. Die geloof maak hom nou maandag, verstaan jy?
En 'n kind word vrou in Griekwa tradisie. Dis Griekwa wêreldie. Griekwa stad lê byvoorbeeld net so 40 km hier vandaan en die gebied was bekend as Griekwa Landwes. Selfs die rugbyspan word nou nog die Griekwas genoem. Maar die mense wat sê dat hulle regte Griekwas is, sê hulle dit vandag niks. Nie grond nie, nie identiteit nie en selfs nie die erkenning van hul tradisionele leiers nie. Dit alles, sê hulle, is van hulle beroof. Soos hulle eertydse leier Cornelius Kok se beendere in die 60er jare hier op Campbell uitgegrawe en van hulle weggeneem is. Die oorskot gaan hulle nou terugkry. Maar of hulle dit in grond wat die Griekwas hulle eie sal kan noem, sal kan begrawe, is te betwyfel. Wie se grond is hierdie?
My meisie, ek kan nie vir jou mooi dit ding duidelik maak nie, maar soos ek weet, dit is Adam Kok. Ons het vir Adam Kok hier begrawe self.
Verskeie stories oor die struwelinge onder destydse Griekwa-leiers maak dit moeilik om te bepaal aan wie die grond behoort het. In die vroeë 1800s was waterboer op Griekwa stad as die opperhoof van Griekwa-land Wes beskou. Tog was die Campbell-gronde, wat op 'n stadium selfs Kimberley ingesluit het, die domein van die Kok-familiestam. Maar in die tweede helfte van die 19de eeu het die inboorlinge hul grond begin verloor. Blanke boere op soek na veiding het hulle sonder meer op die grond gevestig. En met die ontdekking van diamante was Griekwa-land Wes eers in die gedrang. Die gebied word toe onder Britse beskerming geplaas en later word dit by die Kaapkolonie ingelyf. Die Griekwa se grond en onafhanklikheid was so te sê daarmee heen. Kolonialisme, die ontdekking van diamante en die gevolglike industrialisasie het die Griekwa se ondergang beteken. Vertellinge lui dat die wat nog grond gehad het, ook uitgebuit is. Baie van die Griekwas het glo hul grond vir 'n appel en 'n ei verkoop en die geld op drank verkwansel. Verarm en verdwaas het hulle op die plase en in die myne begin werk. Weet dan Sarah iets van die Griekwa grond?
Van die Griekwa grond, ek hoor nou eers kort, ons het ook op 'n plaas gebly. Daai ou was wat ons gebly het, was ou Otto Hager gewees.
Dan Sarah kan nog Griekwa praat, maar op die plase het die taal ook verlore geraak.
Ons het tegen ons baie dom, toe nou nog toe ons dom. Nou wat onze kinders net die Hollands kan praat, kijk toe werk ons in die kitchen. Nou is die baby geboren toen het vroegtijd zeepboksie. Dan vaar de ook nooit die zeepboksie, dat zei ik jou. Neerlegde een klein meisje van mij hier in die boksie, dat legde onder de tafel. Toen laat hij slim worden, laat hij kruip. Als hij staat kruip, laat elke been waar die baas zei in die nooi en weggooien op de vloer. Dan wordt hij zo slim, de tel hem op de zeeom. Dat is waarover wat hij nou net Afrikaans kan praten. Nou ons, ik ken niet van de grond te maken, ons het maar nou net zo groot geworden op de aarde zoals hier loopt.
Koba, hy kon kama, koba.
De Griekwa-storie is eintlik 'n hartseer storie. Ons ouers, ons voorouders het ons al die tye vertel dat op watter maniere en hoe hulle gronde van hulle vervreem is.
En in 48 was ons nog op 15 op ons plek. En toen kwam die wet daarin dat alle gronden wordt ontnemen. En met die samen wat het ontnemen is, toen het we van Adam Bali, die kleinsien van A Bali, ons het om op 15 gehad en de politie stand. Jan Los, hij is nou major los geweest, tot hij afgetreden. Hij heeft voor Adam daarop arresteerd voor overtreding bij onze eigen grond. En hij heeft ons daar vanaf laat afkomen tot in die locatie hier waar ons vandaag is.
Hij praat die waarheid. En ik is 70 jaar op Kamerlijst. Hoe oud is jij, Jan? Ik ben 73. En ik is 70 jaar. En ik kan staan wat hij zegt. Die gronden was hulle grondig geweest. En dit behoort aan hulle.
Dit is historisch al oor 'n baie lang tyd geregistreer in die naam van die voormalige afdelingsraad en die distrikraad. Dit is in werklikheid staatsgrond.
Vandaag het ons niks. En as onze kinders vandaag als zwervelingen. Die Griekwa is een zwerveling. Hij is gemaakt als zwerveling.
Ons eisgrond wat die staat vanaf ons afgeneem het.
Martin Engelbrecht het onlangs tot die Griekwa se stryd toegetree. Hy sê hy is die woordvoerder van Adam Kok die 5de op Campbell. Hieroor ontvang Adam Kok en veral hy baie kritiek.
Daar is nou soveel van die mense wat die Griekwa gemisken het tot 1995. En nou van die ANC-regering aan bewind is en daar vir die mense lyk of daar een opklimwandjie is, wil allemaal skielik nou Griekwas word.
Maarten hou vol dat sy ouers Griekwas was. Maar hy sê hy het, soos ander Griekwas, as 'n geklassifiseerde kleurling aan 'n tipe geheueverlies gelei.
Die Griekwa mense is geherklassifiseer tot kleerlinge. En dit is die grootste misdaad wat iemand ooit kon gepleeg het, om iemand se identiteit uit te wis.
Daar in die 50e jare het daar een wet gekomen. En daar was een man geweest die daar rondgelopen had. Zijn naam is Morgan. Als jij zegt, die is een Griekwa, dan klassificeren hulle je sommer voor een Naturella. En toen kreeg ons allemaal die Naturella boek.
Toen zal daarna komen, toen zal hij nou de onderzoek maken van die boeken. Hoe kan die Griekwa bevolking dan een boeken hebben? Ons is mijn stam boven, ze kennen ze, die Griekwas.
En toen geef je ons zo'n blauw boek.
Kan hij dood?
Ja. Toen ik zei, kan niet dood. Griekwa kan niet dood. En toen geef je ons dat boek. En toen kwam die regering, toen geef je ons nog een groen kaartje.
Toen die kaart ingevuld wordt, toen vraagt mij pas zijn broer, zijn dochter, wat ik ondergewerkt heb. Hoor die middag, wat is je? Toen zei ik als Griekwa. Toen zei ze nee, ik kan jou niet invullen als Griekwa niet. Je moet kleerling wezen. Toen zei ik maar, Hillary, ik beveer om een kleerling te wezen, want ik als Griekwa.
Als je invulling, je zegt Griekwa, dan komt je uit die kleerling.
Baie van ons kinders hoor net hulle is Griekwas, maar hulle is meer in die kleerling dan is dit.
Ik is een kleerling.
Nou, wie is die Griekwas?
Mijn oma kan Griekwa taal praten en ze kan Griekwa taal dansen.
Nou, wie se oumas kan allemaal Griekwa praat?
Mijn opa kan. Ik kan samen met mijn oma Griekwa taal praten, maar ik wil hiervoor die kinders praten van alles om beskof.
Kom staan aan de kant. Allemaal van jullie? Zeg gauw voor mij.
Want toen, king.
Terwijl hulle alle andere mensen, zwart groepen, van punt A tot punt B herskuif het. As die Griekwas eenvoudig net in hulle identiteit verander. En dit was wat ik altijd noem mental resettlement.
Verdeeldheid onder die Griekwas veroorsaak groot probleme. Buiten die Noord-Kaap is daar ook Griekwas in die Vrystaat en die Wes-Kaap. Oproef Andrew A.S. Lefleur woon in die Wes-Kaap. Sedert 1956 lei hy ook die Griekwa Nasionale Konferensie se stryd om erkenning van die Griekwas se inheemse regte. Maar in die Noord-Kaap tree verskeie mense en groepe namens die Griekwas op. Dit verwar die regering.
Daar's verskeie Griekwas, daar's oorvleelende aansprake. Met wie praat jy? Oor spesifieke eise, oor watter grond praat jy? Daar is nog glad nie duidelikheid oor presies wie watter grond wil hê en wat hulle eise is nie.
Ons weet dat daar's 'n Adam Kok groep. Nou, hulle is ook 'n unieke Griekwa groep. Maar dan is daar ander individuele persone in die Campbell gemeenskap wat nie met die betrokke groep saamwerk nie, wat soort van 'n oppositie is.
Nou sien julle vir Adam Kok as julle leier hierso.
Ons kyk hom vas.
Ons leier vandag moet eintlik Adam Kok wees. Die 4de.
Waar is hy?
Daar staan hy. In die brein hier. Dit is nou... Maar jy is mos nou eintlik ons kaptein.
Waar is die kaptein?
Hier staan kaptein. Kok. Kom Adam Kok. Die 4de.
Nou is hy nou die leier.
Dit is ons leier. Hy moet nou net... Als met hy nou in Pretoria rekord se bemagtiging deurkom dat almal kan weet dat hy ons leier gaan wees.
Die regering is besig met 'n ondersoek na die geskiedenis van die Griekwas.
Daar word nou sekere antropologiese ondersoeke gedoen word om te wil weet wie jy is. Ek weet wie ek is. Hoekom moet iemand nog weer op navorsing doen?
Sê vir die regering, hy moet ons grond teruggee. Dan kan ons, hy moet nie worry hoe gaan ons grond regeer.
Maar vir wie gee hy die grond terug? Dis die probleem.
Onze collectieve leierskap as huishoudelike sake. Die regering moet net dit verstaan. Hy moet eers die groot deel moet hy gee. Die ander huishoudelike sake is onze besigheid, dis nie syne nie.
Want mense sê daar is eintlik nie meer Griekwas nie. Daar's bitter min Griekwas. Daar's Griekwas soos meneer Martin Engelbrecht wat nou onlangs Griekwa geword het. En daar's meneer Wellen wat self erkende onlangs Griekwa is. En dit gebruik die mense ook.
Kom daar asseblief. Dis 'n vraag wat op my van toepassing is.
En van my op my toepassing is.
Kyk, wat die nasie net moet weet en hoor is, daar is net Griekwas in die Republiek van Suid-Afrika. Daar is nie kleerlinge nie. Die kleerling is 'n naam wat geskep is en wat die mense in die tyd van Morgan, daai naam gestiek is op hulle. Ek het dit aanvaar. Ja, reg genoeg. Ek is tussen aanhalingstekens 'n Griekwa van 2,5 maande oud. Maar in werklikheid is ek 'n Griekwa wat stam uit my ouma uit. Dis 'n Griekwa vrou. En my oupa is 'n Engelsman. En my pa is 'n sogenaamde kleerling, maar hy's 'n Griekwa. En my ma is 'n Engelsvrou. So, waar pas ek? Ek pas hier by Queen Victoria in Engeland. Ek pas hier in Suid-Afrika by die Griekwa. So die Griekwa het grond, dat ons dit net op verstaan. Die kleerling het niks. Die Griekwa het grond.
Is dit nie miskien hoekom jy 'n Griekwa wil wees en nie 'n kleerling nie?
Dat ek wil 'n Griekwa wees omdat die Griekwa grond het. Is my geboortereg om 'n Griekwa te wees.
Intussen vergader nog 'n groepie in Kimberley. Hulle is lede van die Griekwa Nasionale Konferensie en ondersteun Andrew A.S. Lefleur as die Griekwa opperhoof.
Want die Lefleurs het die koningskap geërf vanaf die kokke van Kokstad.
Ons is een Griekwa en een Griekwa leiers.
Een Griekwa leier.
Leier.
Een leier.
Een leier.
Wie is die leier?
Dis die leier.
Maar daar's mense wat sou sê biskop Cornelis is nie die leier nie.
Wat ons vir julle sê met julle hier aanvaar. Anders nie soos julle dit nie aanvaar nie. Dit is soos nou maar julle se eie storie.
Is Hunter Tyler die wêreld se bekoorlikste vrou? Miljoene dink so en wil graag die geheim van haar vlekkelose skoonheid ontdek. Hunter se velsorg begin met laks.
Because Lux has the richest, creamiest lather, keeping my skin so soft and so smooth. It's no secret. I use Lux.
Lux, die skoonheidsseep van internasionale sterre.
We hired this very highly respected financial expert to explain exactly how much interest you'll pay if you buy a Toyota Conquest or Corolla 1300. No, not 20%. Less than 10. Not even 5. Your Toyota dealer is offering some very seductive value packages. For example, if you're an approved buyer and you buy a 1300 Conquest or Corolla over 36 months, you'll pay absolutely no interest whatsoever. No residuals, no hidden clauses, no fine print, no nothing. Just zero.
Let's see. Now available. New communications company with some experience. Invented dial tone. Also phone. Transistor, laser, cellular. Has won awards, Nobel, etc. Formerly part of AT&T, now Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
Old hands reckon timing and the perfect getaway car are the tickets to success. Now, all you need to do is stretch. For not one chance, but 2 to win 500,000 round instantly. Then there's the bonus chance to win one of 8 SsangYong Musso Turbo 4x4s.
So get your 5 round 2x500 scratch card now for the race to riches has started!
Biskop Cornelis is leier van die Griekwa Volksorganisasie. Hy bly op Ritchie, suid van Kimberley.
Volgens 'n bemagtigingsbrief van Nicolaas Waterboer is hy ook die permanente opperhoof van Griekwa Wes in Albanië. Sedert 1955 doen biskop Kanjelis verskeie beroepe op die regering vir die Griekwa se reg op selfbeskikking. In 'n brief aan meneer P.W. Botha skryf hy:
Die Griekwas klop vandag by edele se deur vir die herstel van ons eie identiteit. Heilig moet ons tradisie prysgee, omdat ons eie van ons weggeneem is deur 'n wet wat deur die regering van die land gemaak is.
Biskop Kanjelis het 'n brief teruggekry wat sê die saak geniet aandag. Hy sê hy het 'n paar jaar later ook aan meneer F.W. de Klerk geskryf.
Niks het gebeur.
Hulle aansprake soos ek verstaan is op baie wyer gebied as Campbell, trouwens die hele Herbert distrik onder andere. En ook selfs baie wyer is dit.
Ons wil nie 'n tuisland hê nie. Ons wil die gronde hê wat ons weet is die Griekwa gronde van ons en nie 'n tuisland.
Maar dit kan moontlik die hele Noord-Kaap wees.
Ons is bereid om te deel.
Die herstel van grondregte wetgewing gaan oor baie spesifieke gevalle waar mense van hulle grond ontneem is na 1913.
Maar ons praat van grond van die Griekwas wat weggeneem is nog lank voor daardie tyd. En daarom het ons 'n komitee op grondsake en hulle is nou besig om daardie ontkenning te betwis.
Op Douglas, suid van Campbell, het die Griekwa Volksorganisasie se grondkomitee staatsgrond by die samevloeiing van die Oranje en Vaalrivier geïdentifiseer.
Hierdie stukkie is net reg. Hier sit 9 staatsplase in besit van die regering. En dit wil voorkom dat die regering besig is om die staatsplase voor te berei, 'n studie daarop te doen om dit in openbaar uit te verkoop.
Die Griekwa volk het sy eie munt gehad, sy eie vlag. Hy was 'n republiek op sy eie.
As ons alle grondeise wil hanteer op die grondslag van voorvaardelike eise, die San-mense of die Boesmanvolk gaan sê maar ons was die oorspronklike eienaars gewees van die hele Kalahari Noord-Kaap gebied ensovoorts ensovoorts. Ek meen ons kan nie so ver teruggaan in die geskiedenis nie.
Dis ons Griekwaland hier. Ons voorouers Griekwaland. Maar ons het niks. Der ewigheid. Ek voel baie seer. My kinders het niks om bewys. Dis 'n Griekwaanse kinders. Ons was eers onder 'n blanke verdrukking. En nou skyn dit met ons gaan na 'n swart verdrukking toe. Ek wil nie meer grap gemaak nie. Ja. Ons is genoeg gespeel. Ek is genoeg mee gespeel.
U is nie vergete nie. U voel vergete. Die roofsigtiges het die rol van môre nog in hulle hande. Maar die Here weet. Daarom wil ek vir u sê vanmôre, ons is besig om herlewing aan die Griekwa volk te bring. En ek kan vir u sê, ons trek op die regte pad.
As ons nog nie die grond teen 21 September het nie, gaan die huishouding van die Griekwa die grond beset. Hoe voel julle daaroor? Laat ek aan terugvoer gee. Gaan ons die grond beset?
As daar 'n behoefte tot grond bestaan, ons het 'n spesifieke program om daardie behoeftes aan te spreek. Hulle moet sê, ons, die volgende groep mense, met name, wil graag daardie grond gebruik vir die volgende redes. En ons sal simpatiek daarna kyk. En binne die Griekwa volke is daar ook verdeling en daar is mense wat eise indien en ander mense wat aanspraak maak op die grond.
Vanmiddag moet die Here nou die harte van die regering, hy moet vir hom daai klip uithaal. En wegkyk van die verdeeldheid.
Kyk, die Griekwas moet nie hier 'n klompie wees en daar 'n klompie wees. Ek sê hulle moet aan een wees eendag met 'n vergadering dat dit kan gaan verstaan word waar laat die uitbroei en waar laat daar uitbroei. Verstaan jy? Want die biriep as hy gekoba dat bly die biriep daarso.
Nou wie is die biriep?
Die donkerkleurnas, die Bantus.
O, hulle bly by mekaar, maar nie die Griekwas nie.
Ja, hulle val uit mekaar uit. Ja,
Hulle sê dis omdat die biriep, die Tsonnas, gekoba, saamgestaan het, dat hulle nou die grond op Smitstrift gaan terugkry. Daar was ook 'n Griekwa eis, maar 'n kommissie het besluit dat die Batlaping die regmatige eienaars is. Hulle is in 1968 onder dwang vanaf Smitsdrift na Kuruman verskuif. Maar die ou mense vertel dat die Griekwas eerste by wat hulle Fonteintjie noem gebly het. En hulle was nog daar die dag toe die Tsonnas in lorries weggery is.
Hoekom is hulle weg? Op die rede van die pooltax en onze veewaarde wat ons van lewe, die moet ons verminderen. En als die niet kan verminderd worden, dan moet ons de grond afvat.
So julle moes van julle vee ontslaa raak?
Ja, hoe zullen ons gelewe het?
Meneer Josiah Katz onthou nog goed hoe hy as kind op Smitsdrift gespeel het. Maar hul plaas is ook nou daarmee heen.
Toe kom de beers nou met hierdie draad van hom. Toe kamp hy nou die plek af. Toe verwyder hy nou die mense wat in die binnekant van die beersdraad nou is, nadat hy dit klaar afgekamp het. Toe druk hulle die mense almal hier op 'n hoop. Die plek se naam was toe later genoem die kamp. Hier in die 60er jare het die padmakerkamp hier kom verbygetrek en paaie en brûe gebou en ook die mense uitmekaar uitgejaag. Soos die anders dan nou Kimberley toe en anders is hier in die plase in en almal is uitmekaar uitgeverstrooi.
Dis amper 30 jaar later. Die Tsonnas kry Smitsdrift terug met staatsbefondsing om hulle weer op die been te kry. 'n Klein groepie bly reeds daar, maar die steenkamps voel diep seer gemaak. Hoekom kry hulle dan nie ook hul grond terug nie?
'n Kolonie as jy wat sê jy steenkamp jy mag hier kom bly.
Ons soek ons grond terug. Die steenkamps, het Fonteintjie, 5 fonteine oopgeskiet, die steenkamps. Hy fonteine oopgeskiet, my voorvaders.
Oupa, Fonteintjie word nie aan die steenkamps nie.
Word jy die steenkamps? Nee. Van wie behoort jy dan?
1993, 3rd of December, daar was 'n commission. Wie van julle was daar? Was jy nie daar nie, meneer?
Ons was geen kennis gesteld.
Was meneer nie daar nie?
Nee.
1993, 3rd of December.
Nee. Ja, ons die Griekwas was sie.
Hulle was, daar was.
Wie?
Maar relatief vir ons
Miskien was daar Griekwas, maar ons ken nie die Griekwas.
Some may say they were not represented, but on the day of the case, there were a very strong Griekwa delegation.
As die Griekwas voel, hulle is onregverdig behandel, die proses is nog nie klaar nie. Hulle kan nog steeds 'n eis indien. Maar dan moet weer eens nie alle afstammelinge van 'n Griekwa leier nie, maar hulle moet sê ons die volgende mense was die inwoners gewees op daardie grond.
Dat was die Kokse, dat was die Steenkamps, dat was die Katse, dat was die Valentijnse, dat was die Boysense, dat was die Frederikse. Ons was 'n stad. Dat was die Lucas, dat was die Apolse. Dat was 'n stad. Dat was nie 1 en 2, 3 nie. Ons was 'n stad.
Hoekom moet net Tsonnas hier so bly? As 'n nuwe Suid-Afrika, almal kan ons hier so bly.
Die force removal, die force removal vir wie het hier uitgegaan?
Vir die Tsonnas.
No.
Die Tsonnas was nie gepos. Hulle het hulle identiteit verloor, hulle het hulle kultuur, hulle het hulle taal verloor en apartheid het ons uitmekaar uitgeskeer. No. En dis hoekom die regering ons gronde teruggee en ons wil weier om kleerlinge te wees. Ons is Griekwas en ons weier en ons soek ons grond ook terug. Dit is wat ons soek.
Maar miskien het u nie regtig stryd met die Tsonnas nie. Is dalk miskien net 'n bietjie jaloers.
Ek is nie jaloers nie. Ek is ek is ook jaloers. Ek is ook jaloers. Ek is jaloers.
Julle Griekwas nou die boere julle omdraai.
Ja.
Julle toegestem nee om te gedraai word om kalles te wees. Ons het gebly ons sê ons bly swart mense. Toe sê julle nee man, ons moet bietjie teerlings wees dat ons bietjie hier hoog staan. Verstaan jy?
Laat ons dan so doen dan ook.
Maar kompeteer van die wat vrou afkry, daai dit kry ons 'n kompeteer. Daai dit in die bar ingaan, toe kan ons in die bar ingaan. Dis hele goeie wat vir julle gevreneek het.
Ja. Om op te som kan ons sê, hier's 'n groep of groepies mense wat hulself Griekwas noem en wat grond eis. Gaan hulle of gaan hulle dit nie kry nie? Maar die werklikheid lê veel dieper as dit. Hier's mense wat vir onreg, verstote en vergete voel. En hulle bevind hulle nou in 'n nuwe Suid-Afrika, in 'n tydperk van regstelling en versoening. Maar waarmee gaan die Griekwas hulle moet versoen? Met 'n afsnydatum van 1913, die feit dat hulle nou as kleurlinge oor die hele land versprei is en dat hulle hul kanse op eenheid en om as 'n volk ernstig opgeneem te word, verbeur het.
Die land van koring en van wyn, En als hij reik om nou is mijn, hier scheen altijd een helder dag. En weg is daar die donkere nacht. Wo Buleland, Zuid Buleland, jou is de berg, daar is my staan. Ek sien dat ver.
Hulle het gesê daar is nie meer Griekwa nie. Maar ons het gewys dat die Griekwa is, die kan nie dood. Hulle kan nie weggewens word of weggedroom word nie, nie die Griekwa volk.
My jammer is my vaderland.
Tennis action from Stone Park of the match between Andre Agassi and our own Wayne Ferreira.
Boxing yona e tsena mo di quarterfinaleng mme re tla go bontsha dintwa tse di dingwe tse di rileng.
Weightlifting, it's the big man lifting the big weight at the Georgia World Congress Center.
Ho cycling re tla go bontsha cross country ya banna le basadi lo ka nna wa bona Erika Green a tsaya karolo gompieno.
Hockey, South Africa are out of contention for a medal, but we keep an eye on progress in both women's and men's events.
Basketball ya kwa bokhutlong mme go tshameka di quarterfinal gompieno mme re tla go bontsha metshameko e mengwe.
Table tennis will also be brought to you from the Georgia World Congress Center.
Setlhopha sa softball sa America se batla go dira history ka go gapa gold medal ya ntlha.
And a very, very good evening to you in South Africa. Afternoon here, A.B. Matsaleng and myself. And we're all talking about Carl Lewis. Is he the greatest man of all time, or Pavlo Nurmi? Who's the greatest athlete?
I think we'll wait and see what will happen, but...
That's good.
Ferreira leads 5-4.
So Ferreira up a break in this second set. He got the early break in the first set and then gave it away almost immediately. Agassi broke in the 12th game to take that. But he's been playing very well indeed against the #1 seed. These two have played 5 times previously, and Ferreira has never won. Agassi's been a bit of a bogey for him. He's beaten most of the other top players in the world, Sampras and Becker and Stich and various others, but Agassi, since 1994, has proved to be a real problem for Ferreira. Only once, in fact, has he taken a set of him. I beg your pardon, he hasn't taken a set of him. Lost in 3 sets at the US Open in '94. Last time they played was in Tokyo last year on hard court. Agassi won that 7-5, 6-2. Now Ferreira has a chance to take his first set ever off Agassi and level it in the Olympic quarterfinal at set all. Been serving quite well in this match. High number of aces. Good attacking play from Agassi.
Love 15.
Really late call on the line.
Good
kick on the second serve, and one of the key to confidence in these matches is to have your serve working well. And that's an example of the way he has been serving. He's been mixing it up to that court, occasionally serving out wide, that one going down the middle. Out wide, and both of those Agassi's questioning. Wisely Ferreira turning his back and just trying to compose himself. Well, he's not happy about the calls, but indicative of perhaps his frame of mind at the moment. Double set point for Ferreira. Well, he attacked the second serve, Agassi. The line call still preying on him. No. 2 set points saved